Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon. And welcome to today's edition of The Law and You. I'm your host, Attorney at Law Shellon Washington, licensed in the state of New York, also licensed in my home country, Guyana, and Trinidad and Tobago. So today, guys, I'm going to bring you a special edition. I know this has been the talk over the internet in Guyana. And, you know, since Guyana is now pretty much well known by many countries, everyone has been talking about this recent incident that happened in Guyana. So I just want to break down the legal aspects of it for you today. I'm not going to be discussing much of the stuff that most people have been talking about, but I want to talk about the legal aspects of it. I'm not going to get into anything political or anything of that sort. We're going to be discussing and breaking down the legal aspects of what happened and who we believe should be charged and who should be in jail right now. So we're going to be discussing that today. All the people we believe that should be in jail or should be facing charges, we're going to discuss that today. Because as far as I understand, a lot of people should be in jail or they should be facing charges for this. Now, let's talk about this. So as far as I understand it, the child, first of all, condolences to the family. I saw the father on the internet. Condolence to the father, the mother, whoever the family members of this young child is, condolence to them. And I am so sorry for their loss. But the death of this child has highlighted something really important that has been going on in Ghana for a while, and it needs to stop. So let's break it down. First of all, as far as I understand it, is the child went missing. The child went missing late Wednesday into Thursday. And the family, realizing the child was missing, the family went and they started to search. The first place they started to search was in the hotel itself where the child was last seen. The police produced false information telling the public that, hey, you don't need to worry because we have a video showing that the child left the hotel at some time in the evening, so she's no longer there. This type of distraction caused the family members to start looking elsewhere for the child because now everybody's thinking that the child left in some sort of car, because this is misleading, false misleading information coming from the Guyana police force. Now, let's break down the actions of the Guyana police force. First of all, the Guyana police force, they are supposed to protect the citizens, right? In this instance, they provided false misleading information to the family of Adriana Young, which caused the family now to divert their attention and start looking elsewhere. All during that time, there's a possibility that that child was still alive. But until the autopsy report comes out, we would not know what exactly was the time of death. But we can assume, based on what was said about the body not having no rigor mortis haven't stepped in. And you know, the time from the time a person dies to the time rigor mortis starts to step in, the window has to be at least 2 hours. And based on the information I've seen or I've received, there was no rigor mortis at the time the child was taken out of the pool. Also, there's no signs of drowning. There's no signs that there was water in the child's lungs. And the family and people who saw the body also indicated that the child had cotton wool stuffed in the nose. So therefore, we can safely assume that the child did not drown. And everyone who staked out the hotel the entire night, including the family of Adriana Young, has said that they did not see anybody in the pool. So now, if the police did in fact produce false, misleading information to the family of Adriana Young, then the law needs to take a look at the actions of the police officer who did this. By no means should the police officers be exonerated. So if anybody think that the police officer's actions should not be reviewed, then that's completely wrong. The police has a duty to protect, and if they aided and abet the commission of a crime, then the person who did that is also answerable to the law. There's aiding and abetting, which is exactly what happened in this case by the police producing false information and misdirecting the attention of the family of Adriana Young. They were aiding and abetting the commission of a crime, because all during that time, there's no evidence to tell us that Adriana was already dead. And based on what I've said earlier, rigor mortis haven't stepped in, the body haven't started to become stiff at the time it was retrieved from the pool, we could safely conclude that the police was aiding the kidnap. The child probably was still alive. And if the police had done the right thing, then somebody would have found the child timely, maybe save her life. Maybe she wasn't dead at the time when they stormed the hotel. Maybe they could have successfully gotten into the hotel, a thorough search of every single room, every single storage, every closet, and maybe they would have been able to retrieve the child in time before she was killed or murdered. Therefore, the actions of the police officers who were on the scene and who were conducting the investigation need to be examined. They need to be charged with an accessory before the fact, or even as the accessory to murder, because they helped to assist the killer to take the life of that innocent child. So that's so must be charged. The police must be taken into custody. They must be put before the court, and they must also answer to the court as to why they produced false, misleading information, why they aided and abetted the commission of a crime, and why they were an accessory before and after the fact to the commission of a murder of an 11-year-old child. So guys, do not sit lightly and take the actions of the police lightly. They have to face the tape also. Now let's look at the conduct of the hotel owner. He is the one that everyone is alleging that, okay, the owner of the hotel, he's the one killed the child. Everybody's concluding that he's the killer because they saw that his boots was wet. There was wet marks after the body of the child was retrieved, and they actually confronted him. He had water. His shoes was actually soaking wet. Now, we don't have an actual camera footage, or we don't have anything yet to show that he is actually the murderer. But I can tell you this, regardless of what is found, he has to be questioned. He is the owner of that hotel, and anybody dies on his premise, he's responsible. Legally, he is responsible. If someone goes into your home and they slip and they fall and break their neck because of your negligence, you leave something unattended, you had a hole in the floor or something, and that person falls through there and died, you're responsible. Same theory. This man owns the hotel. The child was on his premises. Whether he himself is the murderer or he had somebody else did his dirty bidding for him, he's still legally responsible. So he has to be questioned, and maybe charges has to be laid against him. Now, I'm going to tell you, the only thing I'm a little bit disappointed with is the fact that the hotel is gone. The hotel is burned down. I do understand the frustration of the public, and I do understand many people would have thought this is the best thing to do. Burn the hotel to the ground so that we know now that no one else is going to go there and lose their life over any type of ritual, sacrifice, or whatever it is that hotel owner had going on there. But there's a downside to that, which most people didn't think. Now, because the owner is responsible for the death of Adriana Young, And because he probably was himself actually involved in the killing of that child, he's also civilly liable for her death. So the family of Adriana Young is going to have two lawsuits. They're going to have a lawsuit against the government of Guyana, because the Ghana Police Department is an arm of the government of Ghana. So now they're going to have a lawsuit, a civil lawsuit against the government of Ghana, and also a civil lawsuit against the owner of the hotel. But guess what? The hotel is already burnt down, so there's no assets to recover from, right? The family of Adriana Young could have owned that very hotel, and then they could have taken it, sold it, do whatever they want to do with it, but the money would have gone to them, because once they get a judgment against the owner of the hotel, they have to recover the money. But where is the money going to come from now? The public has already burned the hotel down to the ground, and I guess in their hot pursuit and in terms of being upset and angry over the conduct of the hotel owner, people went and they burned the hotel down to the ground. But just so you know, people, the family of Adriana Young has a right to a wrongful death claim against the government of Ghana and against the owner of the hotel where she actually died. In addition to the police aiding and abetting the death of that child, the police actually, they assist in the commission of the crime, because if they weren't impeding the rights of the parties to go into the hotel and search before that child died, the party probably would have found her alive. But by the time the next day, who would have found? And everyone knows the longer you wait to recover, or the longer it takes for you to find a missing victim, the chances diminish of you finding the victim alive. The Ghana Police Force must know this, because they're specialized in criminal investigation. And I know that they have a homicide department who specialize in homicide investigation or kidnapping. So they must know this is knowledge that everybody has, that the longer you wait, the first 48 hours is the most crucial to finding anyone. And the longer you take to find that person is the dimmer the chances of you recovering that person alive. So in addition to a lawsuit against the Guyana government, the family of Adriana Young, has a right to claim a lawsuit against the owner of the hotel. But if you've already destroyed all of their assets, once you file that complaint, you will get nothing, absolutely nothing, for the death of that child. And I believe that the family are entitled to compensation, because what happened was really egregious. You shouldn't have to worry if you go to an hotel that your child would go missing and that somebody will take that child and use the child for ritualistic killing. I mean, this is atrocious that we have this type of people in Guyana that think that they're above the law and they can engage in this type of conduct and that nothing will come out of it, that nobody would have cared that Adriana went missing. But the fact of the matter is right now, in terms of them being, the family being able to recover any type of compensation as a result of what happened, it's being diminished every day. And as I learned that the public is looking and they're searching for any other asset that this owner of the hotel might have had in Guyana, and they're going to take, I call it street justice. The reason why I call it street justice is because you don't allow it to take its course through the court. And I do understand that people don't trust the judicial system in Guyana, but there are some judges who actually do justice. Like I know Gina Posad, he does justice, and there's another judge that I know. There's a couple of other judges that do really good justice, that they rule according to the law, and they don't play when it comes to the law. They don't sit there and play abna with people's cases. They actually read the cases. They actually study the law. They study the rule, and they rule according to the law. And one of the law under which Adriana family would have been able to recover is under Chapter 9905, which allows somebody to make a claim for wrongful death, in any wrongful death claim, and to be compensated. So if you sue the hotel owner, sue his family, sue him for everything he has, then the family, even though I'm not saying, guys, that this is going to take away the pain that the family feel, but her death is worth something, right? She died for a reason. It's just not something to be overlooked and just say, okay, she's dead, right? She's dead, that the owner of the hotel would lose everything and her family would gain everything. But if you burn every single thing down that he has now, when the family files a wrongful debt claim, the only place they're likely to recover money from is against the government of Ghana, because is no way, if you burn every single thing that he owns down to the ground, that you'll be able to recover his assets and put it in the right hands. You take his assets out of his hands and you put it into the hands of Adriana's family, because what he did was horrific. It was wrong. It was atrocious. It was disgusting. It was despicable. All the words that you could find to describe his conduct. And he needs to be lost in jail. Yes. And his assets need to be seized in a judgment. All of it. His hotel land, his house that he lives in, all of his bank accounts needs to be seized as part of the judgment. Adriana's family could literally obtain millions of dollars as a result of this wrongful debt that happened. But the attorney or whoever is going to be handling the case, they should advise the family that, well, the public at large, because the family doesn't, I don't even think the family's thinking about this aspect of it right now. They're probably just mourning the death of this child. Right? They're mourning the death of the child. And in the meantime, the public is angry. I understand that, but the public has to slow the pace down. Okay, guys, just slow the pace down in terms of destroying all of the assets, because the family need to recover something at the end of this all. But guys, like I said, the Guyana police force, people need to take a closer look at them, and they need to be answerable for the death of this child, because they actually aided and abetted the wrongful death of Adriana Young, and there's no way around this. Nobody could say, oh, they were just there. There could have been some sort of bribe that was passed. I don't know. And I'm not going to make that assumption. But in the meantime, the people in Guyana, you guys need to slow the pace down in terms of destroying all of this man's assets, and think about going and take actions and get an injunction to freeze all of his assets, so it will remain there until you get a judgment to allow you to enforce against every single thing that he owns. Don't destroy it, guys. You need it. You're going to need it. So the public of Ghana, slow the pace down on destroying all of his assets. You've already burned the hotel down to the ground, which I don't think it was the best move. I do understand in the anger, you take street justice. But at the end of this all, what is the family of Adriana going to recover to compensate them for their grief, for their loss? There'll probably be nothing left on this man's behalf. So what you should have done really is just move straight away to file a wrongful death suit and just get an injunction. Just freeze all of his assets, put everything on hold until the lawsuit is ended. And I guarantee you, there's not much of a defense that this man could put up. Like, what do you think he's going to argue? There's not much to argue. The child died there, and there's a lot of speculations, and the police didn't do a good job at investigating. Okay, guys, well, today I'm not going to be that long, because I just wanted to talk about this Adriana Young situation. I wanted to talk to the public about it, and especially the family. Hopefully the video reaches the family. Guys, I encourage you to share the live, press the like button, share it as much as you can, so that the public, whoever, the people, the family, can be able to see this, and they'll take actions immediately to start filing a civil suit against the owner of Doubleday Hotel. All right, guys, thank you so much. Today's edition is brought to you by my firm, a Washington law firm. Our office is located at 455 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. Just remember, guys, I'm also licensed in Guyana. I'm licensed in New York, and I do limited practice in other states. So give the office a call if you're in need of legal consultation. Press the like button and share this live, guys. Share it. I'm hoping that the family of the deceased girl is going to get this information, and they'll take steps in the right direction to take every single thing that owner of the Doubleday Hotel owned. Hi, guys. Thanks all of you guys. I can see the one saying hi. Hi, Don Semple. Ernest, hi to my aunt. I see my aunt is also there. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you next Saturday on the edition of The Law and You. Every Saturday I bring you this at 4 p.m. guys. Share this live. Don't forget, we want the right people to get it, and we really would like the family of Adriana Young to be able to get this information so that they'll take steps in the right direction. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys, and I'll see you again on next Saturday on the edition of The Law and You, where I bring you the law on current issues affecting you daily. Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.